Could you give us some information about Red Hat EMEA region? What issues does Red Hat focus on this region?
Well, EMEA region is the second contributor to the overall results of Red Hat worldwide. We do something like 25% plus of the total business. We do a lot through partners, and this has been a tradition, and we are keeping doing this. This is part of the DNA and the ecosystem. We see continuous growth on what we call emerging technologies. So this is everything related to cloud technologies, management and automation technologies, storage, and so on and so forth. And over the past 2 quarters, we are now in the second part of our fiscal year. We have seen again a very good performance of Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
What is the importance of open source for digital transformation?
Well, that's an interesting question. We believe that most of the innovation in the recent past, in the past years, came from open source, whether it is about mobility, IoT, everything related to machine learning, artificial intelligence, all of this was born in open source. And we believe that because of an increased adoption of open source developer environment by the developers, we believe that most of the innovation is going to happen again in the future in open source. Since we have a lot of evidences, we have proven that the enterprises which are using this technology, even in very intense operational environments, are very satisfied with it. We believe, I mean, I'm not predicting any future, but we believe that open source will be at the heart of innovation and digital transformation moving forward.
One of the most popular topics of the last period is artificial intelligence. What is Red Hat's point of view of artificial intelligence?
Well, first of all, artificial intelligence is not something new. I mean, it has been here for many, many years. If you think about the Lisp language in the 60s, it was already there. But with the development of much more affordable technologies, with the possibility to look for computing resources on the cloud, the public cloud infrastructure, it makes it again something which is more affordable. And we have also some topics like connected cars, autonomous driving, services delivered by robots into the houses. All of these technologies require a lot of computing power. Therefore, we think that there is a convergence between the technology, the capabilities of the technology, and the needs of the market. In the same time, we see large players, in particular the cloud providers, creating frameworks which will allow more development into these fields of artificial intelligence. If you think about Google, with their and Microsoft with their frameworks like TensorFlow, CNTK, which normally should enable more developers to work on artificial intelligence projects. We think that there is a real, first of all, interesting future for artificial intelligence applications and for open source playing into this field. I mean, you could also add everything related to big data with Hadoop, everything related to database, new generation database with NoSQL, with data streaming for real-time data processing like Kafka. All of these new technologies are kind of fueling, enabling more developments and more innovation into artificial intelligence. So I think that open source in general and Red Hat in particular is very well equipped to enable and facilitate more innovation into this field.
What's your opinion about Turkey? What are your expectations?
So Turkey first is a great country. If you just look at the population, it's a great country in my region, in Europe, Middle East and Africa. Secondly, what I see is that there is a lot of young people in Turkey and very well educated. Universities have a good reputation. When you think about the country from this angle, you have a lot of connecting points to open source. I mean, open source in terms of mindset, which is about sharing, which is about collaboration, resonates very, very well with the young generation. As I said, in Turkey, you have a lot of young people, very well educated. I see a sort of convergence. I also see, from an economy standpoint, some business verticals like automotive industry, which is adopting a lot open source solutions. I look at telco, I look at banking vertical. All of these business verticals are basically our part of our main verticals in terms of addressable market. We work across the world with a lot of large banking institutions. You have in Turkey very large banks like Akbank, Guarantee Technology and so on and so forth. You have a very strong automotive industry. You have a very solid telco industry, and we are there with all our OpenStack technology, NFV technology, software-defined network technologies. So I have very high expectations in Turkey. I was the one to propose to set a legal entity a few years ago in the country. I'm very pleased with the outcome of this. We have now this legal entity with a growing team. We have a lot of very famous references in the market. So I am not only very optimistic in what this very large market can deliver, but also being reasonably confident in the future developments of the country and the technology. I see a good convergence between the two.
Are you a company working on open source? What kind of developments can there be in the open source field in the future?
Our CEO and president said that it is difficult to predict the future, and I confirm it is very difficult. I mean, if we knew how to do that, we would be in a different place. What I know from what we have been doing now for many, many years, actually this year we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of Red Hat. I really believe that open source has been an accelerator of innovation and will continue doing this. Can I tell you what will be the future innovations? To be honest, no, I cannot. What I see is that every time we have been touching a new type of application or project, whether it is in mobility, artificial intelligence, I was discussing or giving you some thoughts a little bit earlier on this question, whether it is on blockchain and so on and so forth. I think open source is so welcome by the developers. We see more and more developers adopting open source technologies, that I think that a lot of the coming innovation in the future will come from open source. I cannot tell you which one, but I'm sure that we will be playing a major role in this.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.